Hello and welcome back to the Desert Rat Racing League for our Season 1 opener. Today our racers will be going to Laguna Seca, historic Spielberg, and Long Beach, California. Today I am joined by shift member Darius. Let's go ahead and get into the action. So today we start out with Darius leading in pole position, followed by myself, and I'll go ahead and let Darius introduce the rest of our grid here.
We got Shift Finesse following in behind, Racing UK, Ghost, and Nike for this race today.
And so most of these are returning racers, and with the exception of SS, he has been watching the series and he's been racing with us when we have our practice sessions. But with him being over in the UK, as you can tell with his name, his time zone sometimes conflicts, but he was happy to join us for some of our races in this first session.
So far, you were able to get a really good launch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that takeoff at the beginning let me take over for pole position. But we know with this track, it's all about high speed, and you're still right behind me, so nothing's set in stone just yet this first lap.
Yeah. For now, it's just settle in, apply pressure, and from there you make positions.
Although us together, we've already taken a good 1.5 lead ahead from everybody. And I do apologize in advance. Sometimes the camera controls at Laguna Seca are a little weird. As the race progresses, I get better with that. So.
Oh.
And oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
It's from what I can tell, I'm pretty sure that was lag because that was such a weird.
It was yeah. I
Weird
think
occurrence, but you get back on the track real fast. But it seemed he somehow tapped the back of my car and it just sent him flying on the corkscrew. But we have 15 minutes of racing ahead of us, so with one lap in, you've still got plenty of time to recover as you start attacking racing.
Yeah, comes a recovery race from that point on.
And so it looks like the field is spreading out just a little bit, but nobody's pulling ahead or falling back. Everybody in the front leading by about 1.5 seconds each, but then, yeah, you three in the back are starting to tighten up just a little bit here.
As
SS is
UK
off track.
went off track.
And Nike here was stealing my car color. I switched specifically for this season. I was like, I'm debuting a new car. I had a little teaser video that I made on my other channel, and he stole my color.
UK tries to get me on the inside there. We do a little switchback.
Get the switchback beautifully. And here we go, headed up towards the corkscrew.
I cut a little too much on that one.
We do have track limits enabled, so if it were to happen too many times, you would get that drive-through penalty we've seen. And racing going for the attack and unfortunately taking you out, but he was respectful and backed
I think
off,
I saved it.
so.
I saved it.
You did. The corkscrew is beautiful in these cars because even when you get kind of pushed, that front-wheel drive will just straighten out in a downhill. But I do appreciate the fact that he backed off, so no penalty was given for that. But we have introduced penalties in this Season 1 now. If there is anything egregious and it's reported or I catch it afterwards, we will be taking positions away, possibly giving positions back. So, good changes for this Season 1 to promote more clean but still aggressive racing. And I'm starting to put in some work. I'm from that 1.5 to 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, you're starting to push.
Everybody dipping a little toe in the dirt. But it kind of helps in getting traction in that turn, weirdly enough. The car freaks out, but then it straightens out.
You gotta use the whole tracks when you can, right?
Exactly. These cars really aren't afraid of dirt or grass. Sometimes it's actually more optimal to cut in a little bit on the track. Legally, of course, but...
Yeah, within limits. I know on the corner that Ghost just went through, if you can set up the car where the inside tire is just past the yellow curb, and you can like go right over it.
Exactly. Here we go into the corkscrew. Like I said, yeah, it's weird how hard it is to get to this camera angle when it should normally work so well. Making it a 3-second gap as we go back into the next lap. But you've you've made your way past racing after he made that mistake going off into the dirt. Now you're getting close to getting ready to attack Nike with that half-second gap.
As I go off in the last corner.
Yeah, sometimes that hairpin, it's not a hairpin necessarily. No, I guess it's a hairpin with that last turn. It's
a pretty tight corner.
if you go to it just a little too fast, it's definitely a deal breaker.
This is where I start pressuring Nike.
There we go, seeing that little dip in the dirt. Nike doing it on the way out. And as we were discussing before this race, this was recorded on my previous computer, so going forward, we'll be able to see the replays in the highest quality and proper 1080p going forward, thankfully. So no more 720p and no more medium graphics. But even with that, this game is gorgeous. And there you go, off the track in the uphill. Looks like he might have just missed the braking point and had to go wide.
I think losing the second position at the start of the race really got into my head, I think. That's where I was just making mistake after mistake. And then I believe I end up having to do a drive-through towards the end.
I think so, yeah.
There's no really good battles going on, maybe between Finesse and Ghost.
It's getting closer. Ghost can definitely close. Ooh, yeah, that line from Ghost was a lot better. So here comes the gap closer. They're already within more than 20 or 2 tenths of each other.
Battle starting. Ghost is going to start pressuring Finesse.
Although Finesse did a really good job using that inside curve. Like, he can definitely get a little bit closer to it. Or kill the Ghost, not Nike.
Ghost definitely has a better entry, but Finesse gets the better exit overall.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to have our season contender from last season join us for this session with Carlos, but hopefully he'll be joining us soon because he would have definitely been putting work against all of us.
Put you up for your money. As Ghost makes a mistake.
That will be a cut from the Sooners for sure. And here's the camera acting out again as we see. If we keep track on that mini map, they're still keeping it nice and close. They get 2 warnings before they get the drive-through penalty with track cutting.
Well, I'm starting to pressure Nike again.
Yeah, back up. And racing UK was fishtailing back there, so he's lost a lot of time putting in almost 3 seconds back. That's wild. It looks like I made a mistake going this turn because I just saw everybody's times drop, so I'm starting to feel that tire wear kicking in as we're using that 2 times tire wear from the season. Oh yeah, here you are. You're staying right on his tail end.
On his bumper.
I love the bump drafting. Yeah, no, that's clean racing. We don't mind the bump drafting as long as it's not hindering anybody. It kept you in pace and it kept him back on the track. So in our last races,
he blocked it.
Oh, yeah, he almost left the door open. But sometimes that is key. If people start working together to catch up with those faster guys in the front.
Yeah, see I just did it there where how on my left outside tire there was right in the dirt going over that curve.
It's wonderful. Because while these things are
I did it again for that corner.
Yeah. They're just high enough off the ground that they still clear a lot of the sausage curves on a lot of tracks. Red Bull Ring is also one we see it a lot of.
Oh, Nike makes a mistake. We go too wide through this corner.
And you set up the switchback. They both go off into the dirt. Oh, that's going to be wonderful for you.
By them.
Able to pass him. And here we go into lap 7. Oh my gosh, this is caught up to me as well.
I think you made a mistake during that
Like I said, that tire wear, I definitely was being a little too aggressive with my lead at the start and trying to keep it. I wasn't pacing myself well. So my front tires were starting to get a lot more cooked. Yeah, even then you can see them sliding out.
You definitely want to use your brake a lot to rotate these cars. Oh wow, I just saw that smoke kick up.
Oh, here he comes. Is he going to get the pass?
Yeah.
He
Side
takes
by
it.
side.
All right.
But
I'm back around on the outside. I'm going to have advantage going into the next turn. Oh,
a little
door
bit of
bumping.
bumping. Side by side again. Oh, we're still going side by side. As I'm starting to catch up while you're battling.
Yeah. That fight's not making anything easier for us. But we keep it clean as we go up towards the corkscrew. And you're capitalizing. There you go, taking second. Back where you belong from the start. Come on, Cameron. Here we go.
Oh,
and right on my rear end now.
Yeah. Trying to take a wide line through there, but you held the inside.
But Finesse isn't far off either. He's going to be able to capitalize on that fight as we go door to door again.
Oh yeah.
3 wide towards turn 1.
Intense 3 wide through here. No, like a little bit of contact, but we all cleared that corner.
It was clean. But now we have a fight for first out of 5 people. I'm able to pull up as everybody goes door to door, but that's not going to last too long.
Finesse gets a good run
on
Finesse,
me. Yeah. Here he comes on the outside.
I should be able to defend it from turn 1 going into the braking zone here. Yeah, I get a really good
here
line
comes.
through here.
You're able to take that advantage and shove him out, and it looks like Nike's able to take advantage too of that situation. He's going to be able to contend with Finesse now.
Still side by side with Finesse.
Oh,
Nike pushes me
up.
up.
Tapped just a little bit with that 3 wide.
I believe that's where I get drive through. I think I fall all the way back down the grid again.
Definitely see if you end up going through the pits on this, we're going to have to take that into consideration because that is something I didn't realize.
A little contact between me and Ghost.
That is what's wonderful about these cars is they don't get unsteady when you accidentally tap or anything like that. The worst you can do is a pit maneuver, and even then these cars half the time will still recover from that.
I believe in comms, once I fell back with Ghost, me and him were just battling for the rest of the race and giggling the entire time because there was just light contacts here and there.
Yeah,
oh, there it is. I'm going into the drive.
We'll definitely take that into consideration once we go into editing for the video. There may even be some results changes with that.
Finesse is not letting you get away.
No, he's not. And
Turn 1. Oh, you're
there. Which is surprising. That definitely means my tires are starting to go out because I do run on low ABS, which usually prevents these cars from locking up unless you're really
pushing. Yeah.
Oh, and I see him go off the back there. It looks like Ghost was off track. Yep, you overtook him. So even with that drive-through penalty, we run a high-speed pit limiter, so that way the drive-through penalties aren't as egregious as would be the 21-second penalty the game normally gives you.
I believe we go side by side through that corner.
Yeah, you guys are fighting
there.
for it back there for sure.
And then we're gonna go side by side through this corner as well.
Laguna Seca definitely provides good opportunities for fighting. It's a nice wide track, even though there's a lot of tight turns. Things get back up to speed real fast.
And these minis, they allow you to go side by side without like any major mistakes.
No, it's really nice. They don't shove out too much. If anything, sometimes the person on the outside actually will push the person on the inside back in.
It's really good racing.
And so I know we're coming close to the race as we're entering lap 9. We're usually seeing about a minute 34 per lap. So with that, minute and a half with 15 minutes on the clock, we're definitely getting closer to the end of this race.
I believe this is the final lap.
This should be the last lap coming up, yeah. Because if we look at the AI is kind of our timer for this race. We just saw him enter the 15 minutes and we're not done yet. So we're going to start seeing our final battles going on here as you dive for that inside with beautiful braking. Although it looks like a switchback happened back there. But Finesse also keeping it up, and Nike not too far off behind. They may be both wearing the Shift name, but it looks like we're both fighting Finesse right now. As we come into the uphill towards the corkscrew, beautiful Finesse. He's staying right on my tail and getting the better line out as I try to defend the corkscrew. Squeezing him out just as much as possible and forcing him to get behind my braking line, and you've created a gap yourself from the two in the back. Here we go with Finesse. And there you go, you see my tires. You can see the car is not really gripping like it should be. Here we go into the final turn of the race. And Finesse sets up for a very strange switchback going back to the outside, but he gets the better line doing so. Taking over first position at the end of the race in the end straight. That was beautiful from Finesse with that wonderful catch-up. You yourself also doing good to catch up back to fourth and stay in the middle with that points. So we had myself, Finesse. Let's go back and see those results. Finesse, myself, Nike, Darius here, Racing, and Ghost. Lots of close racing. What did you think of that, Darius?
It was definitely an intense race with all the battling going on in the different parts of the track.
It was unfortunate, but I will be reviewing that incident again, seeing what happened. Because now that I realize, I thought it was just normal track cutting that gave the drive-through because we were in the heat of the race, obviously. But that will be taken under review. We may have to change the results. I have to see who caused the incident. So thank you for joining me. And he should be joining me for at least the next race of this session, if not the final one. We'll see what happens. Any thoughts going into the first season? Anything you want to talk about otherwise?
No, not really. I'm just looking forward to the next couple races. Fortunately, I won't be here for this upcoming couple, but I will try to be there for the next closer, like next months and stuff.
And so today we go onto the track with myself in pole position, joined by newcomer Captain Ahab, newcomer Rad, and then we have Darius himself, Racing UK, Finesse, and Shift Matt. So, a couple of different people, despite us being in the same session. That is what's nice about these sessions, is as long as you make it to one of the races, you can participate in it and get your points from that race. And here we go, heading into the opening of Historic Spielberg. This is a really fast-paced sector one. And unlike normal Spielberg, it's a lot longer. We don't have that first turn that kind of slows us down. And then we do head into a heavy braking section, but we're still heading up it at least minimum third gear.
Oh yeah. And these cars do not have the downforce for that corner.
No, not at all. The inclines, the curvature of this track is so much weirder when it's old.
Especially the off-camber corner.
Definitely. There's a lot of them on this track too. This is one of them. It can definitely push you to the outside if you're not slowing down enough. But if you do slow down enough and get back to that inside, the downhill will push you out super fast, as you're seeing me do. I'm able to pull ahead of everybody.
Yeah, you're taking an early lead.
This is probably the only turn on the track that is very similar to the modern Spielberg. You still hit it in third gear. You're still just kind of feathering the throttle as it goes down. But then we go back to what feels like a completely different track again. This is another corner where if you're not careful, you'll get thrown into the grass off to the outside, and you're hitting that barrier right there. And so it looks like Rad, Ahab, and SS Racing are having a really good fight up here with you starting to catch up to them as we finish up our first lap.
Yeah. Them battling was allowing me to catch up a little.
And so with this track, we're seeing about 2-minute laps. So we're going to see about 5 to 6 laps total. It is a little bit of a lengthier track compared to its modern counterpart, and compared to what we saw Laguna Seca with about 1.5 laps.
I believe I had a really good run coming up this hill there, and
That
I
was a
descended
beautiful
inside,
intercept. Ooh,
and
yeah,
then
not enough
I had a light.
braking.
He
And racing takes
closed the
himself out,
gap.
unfortunately.
He closed the gap a little bit. I couldn't direct the car where I needed to point it in his direction.
So in that collateral, it looks like Captain Ahab did get collected, unfortunately. So that will have to be reviewed later, and we'll take a look at the results. But for now, we'll continue with the race. So it looks like up ahead, I'm leading by about a second, which isn't crazy. Brad definitely has a chance to catch up. But Finesse and Matt are close enough that if either one of them either makes a mistake or capitalizes, they can catch up to each other and start having a good fight back there. And it looks like we had somebody off track. It looks like Matt might have gone off into the grass there. And that's what's rough about this track.
A lot of tire marbles on the outside of those corners. That's probably what happened there.
Exactly. That's definitely the more rough thing about this track. There's no sand traps. There's no gravel. It's grass. If you're off, you're sliding. It's hard to get back on track. It's definitely not favorable, so it's always good to have that reset button available. We do allow that button to be used as long as it's not disrupting other people with an unsafe rejoin.
Looking like there's too much accident going on at the moment.
Yeah, the race with that accident, it definitely split up the group a little bit. So we're not going to see too much action here in the middle half of the race, but Rad's slowly catching up. He's definitely getting more speed in these straights. As long as he keeps his exits good, he'll be able to catch up in no time. Even there, yeah, you can see at every 100 that he's dropping off, slowly making his progress towards me. Now, to be honest, I haven't quite established what the draft range is in these cars, because they don't really benefit from draft unlike a lot of cars.
Yeah, they don't.
Maybe the side draft they kind of benefit from, but yeah, front end to rear end, no, I don't typically ever feel the draft kick in until you're already almost on their bumper to begin with.
Yeah, it's a very small window. They're not shaped the way a NASCAR is, especially, so.
Exactly that. It's a hatchback. It is truly a traditional hatchback shape, so it's not really made to produce aerodynamics for others. It's truly just made to push forward. Because it's not uncommon that we see hatchbacks in disciplines such as rally. It's very common there because they're not typically going up against other cars. They're going up against their own times. But when you're putting them wheel to wheel like this, they definitely have different dynamics for most race cars.
They use these hatchbacks specifically because of how short they are. They do some great turning.
And I can definitely attest to that as somebody who gets to drive one of these, not this exact model, but the 2014 S Cooper. And they definitely handle very uniquely, but for a car that you think may get something like speed shakes or anything like that, no, they drive so stable, it's insane. And even at high speeds, they can very quickly and precisely maneuver. Whether it's on track to get around somebody or in real life, I've actually had a few times now already where our Arizona freeways quite often have debris on them. We have a lot of working trucks and things like that. Things get dropped, and in my regular car, my Hyundai Accent, that thing is taking way too many beatings just from not being able to maneuver it. But in the Mini Cooper, that thing is nimble as hell.
Wouldn't expect anything less from Mini. going right back to the 60s with their original Cooper. Those beautiful
I'm
cars.
realizing Finesse changed his livery for this track for this race, and that totally threw me off. I thought he was SS for a moment.
I believe I was catching up to him, but I was losing a lot of time because I was going onto those curves and crossing the white line, which may have caused another drive-through for this season for me.
Oh, and he definitely makes a mistake. He didn't slow it down enough. And as I said earlier, these turns will suck you to the outside of that barrier. So you are able to take it up to third. All things considered from the start of the race, this is a good recovery. But knowing that you were the one that did not brake in time, that penalty may come back to bite you later. All right, we see Matt starting to attack Captain Ahab, but making a very interesting line. It's not really ideal to cut to the outside on these high-speed chases. Yeah, it definitely seems like Matt just didn't really decide where he wanted to go there, and it just made a really awkward line through that whole section. So Captain's going to be able to keep that second ahead of him just for now. And I'm noticing it looks like, unfortunately, racing has retired from the race. There now is a race between 6 people.
It's a challenging track, especially if you haven't practiced it all that much in these cars.
It definitely does not follow what you'd expect from even other historic traditional tracks. Like, it definitely has its own rules you have to follow. Maybe in some versions of historic Monza, there's some similar sections with those downhill turns where they can kind of suck you to the outside, but a lot of this track feels very unique.
I believe they didn't even have the chicanes back then, so it was all throttle.
Pretty much, yeah. Monza was one of the first few that introduced chicanes in some of their historic layouts. But a lot of tracks back then, or as you see here, lots of nice, long, wide curves
Right.
for the cars to kind of carry themselves around for those RPMs to stay up. So Captain's going to pull away from Matt. Matt made a little too many mistakes. So we pulled a racing POV from the pits as they pull ahead on their next lap. And we're getting close to the end of this race here. It's entering into the 11th minute, so we're probably only going to see
One more lap.
maybe 2 or 3 more laps here.
That's right, they're 2-minute laps.
This is definitely a track I would love to see revisited with a lot more racers on track because it's a high-speed track. It lives up to the name high-speed ring. So often, like we see in NASCAR, having a lot of drafting going on, things like that, it's not a bad thing to see. It's often what makes quite a fun race at this kind of track.
You can get
And
some crazy top speeds in the straight with drafting for sure.
100%. You're usually
I go
looks
off.
like you took off into that grass, and yeah, as we said, it's no sand, no gravel. So once you're off, you're going wide. And we're seeing that Finesse is very quickly catching up to you on the mini map.
I believe
cutting frame now.
I have a drive-through after that one. You might see me fly into the pits and then fly out behind Finesse.
Yeah, so we set that pit speed to 140. So with a short pit at a track like this, you're not technically having to slow down too much since it's right after this long section. So you see it here. Yep, into the pit.
Hard into the pit, yeah.
Slowing down just enough. And it looks like you're going to come out either just before. Yeah, it looks like you're going to come out ahead of Ahab, so he's going to be able to capitalize on his full speed, but you'll be able to defend that inside and compromise his line. Although he is flying, but you do a good job of squeezing him out there. Beautiful work. Yeah, make sure to be careful that he's not going to get torpedoed again.
It's
So it
definitely a
looks like the next lap will be our last lap as we look at the timer, having only 2 minutes left in the race.
some tough braking
And he
still.
managed to. Oh, good. He compromises your line with his bad line, but you did a good job staying on the inside there. And honestly, even right now, you're both making progress towards finesse.
Yeah, it's because those two corners, they're off camber, and if you don't get the braking point right, you're just washing off the track.
Exactly. You have to let that trail braking kick in just a little bit at the beginning, and then you let that just feather throttling do the rest of the work. Ahab getting an amazing line out of there. As you can see him pulling away.
Right into the tire marble. Not ideal.
So this will be our final lap as we go into it.
Oh, I went
Just
into the
touching the
grass.
grass a little bit. Beautiful late braking. Just past the 100 marker. And here we are cutting back to the front. It's been a quiet race for me and Rad. Neither of us coming quite near each other. Yeah, even there you can see it. Rad just getting sucked out to that outside just a tiny bit.
I was really struggling with that.
I can tell. I heard that shift down to second gear. And there we go. Taking my victory strides as I cross the finish line first. Rad coming up in second. But we're not done yet, as Finesse and Ahab definitely are still going at it in this last turn. Anything can happen if Finesse makes a mistake. Ahab has a good line, but doesn't quite carry the speed to get past Finesse. So that has Finesse, Ahab, yourself, Fish, and then Matt with our 6, since we know that SS has retired from this race. So definitely could have been a tighter race. We saw the incident at the beginning kind of spread out the pack, but overall, everybody kind of had their little fights. It was not the most exciting, but it's a point earner. That's what matters. Other than that, that's gonna go ahead.
I said that it is a points earner.
And sometimes that's all that matters. As we saw in season 0, the shift guys only showed up for the very last session of the session of the season, and one of them still managed to get, I think third. Yeah, third in the whole. It was 40s. 40s got third in the whole
I
season.
believe
So
I came runner up as well. I believe.
you were fourth, and then yeah, we had, because it was me, Carlos, 40s, and then yourself. You were correct. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be that for session or season, race 2 of session 1. And so here we go off with the helicopter cam leading us away. Brad taking pole position, as we said. Everybody lining up as we head into that high speed first turn. High speed entry. Heavy braking. That's the words I'm looking for.
As you go and dive the inside of Rad.
And I I just love the camera angles produced by this track as well, mixed with our camera tools built in from the game. And we have a strong start from everybody. We're only having less than a 3-second gap between everybody, so that's a wonderful start to a Long Beach race. And it's good to see everybody making as much use of the track as possible in some of these turns, because if you don't, you really just don't have the speed coming out of it. In my case, using too much of the track, apparently.
You definitely lose pace if you don't go and get close to those walls. You have to capitalize on the amount of space you have. There's like no shortage.
Yeah, I was definitely pushing a little too hard. As you can see, I'm kicking it out, scratching the walls.
I was
I
definitely
think by this
applying
point of the session,
pressure.
yeah, after leading for so long in the session, I'm definitely feeling that exhaustion.
I am very good on this track, and I told myself at the start of the race I was not taking a no for an answer. I was gonna have a good race this time around.
He said, "It is agent time. It is time to go double O blue and take the track." Ooh, and we saw Finesse going sideways into the wall back there. Matt making his way past him. That's an unfortunate place to crash out because that tire barrier, if you hit it sideways, is going to spin you out.
Yeah.
He's just finally recovering from it now. That's an unfortunate hit for Finesse back there.
Losing all the space on the track. Almost hitting the wall there.
I'm
Giving
wondering
you,
if the same
gi-
thing was happening to him.
giving you a little pressure on the inside there.
Like tapping my rear end just a little bit with your front end.
Giving you a little
I am
push
honestly
down the
wondering if
straight.
Finesse was
And then
feeling
I
that same
poked my nose
exhaustion.
right just before the braking zone. Brake really hard. You end up keeping it. Still applying pressure through this section.
But I'm responding to it. You can see me making those small little
Keeping it
leaps just to
really
make
tight.
full defense. Ooh, and Ahab back into that wall after the hairpin. But a beautiful forward line as the top four go back into lap 3 now.
Heavy braking zone coming up here. Little tap to the
God, I
wall.
love that camera angle.
Oh, it's so tight at the front right now. Everybody's applying pressure and they're feeling the pressure.
At this point of the session, we had done multiple practices that were at least anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes long, multiple qualifiers that were anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes long, each race being 15 minutes. Everybody definitely is more in tune with these cars at this point, but at the same time, like I was saying, I was feeling the exhaustion by this point. I'm sure Finesse was too, as he was fighting for first in some races.
Oh,
Even
got
there,
a
yeah,
little
another
close
one
to
of
the
us
wall.
scraping the wall.
Luckily for us, damage is off for this races. But if that was real life, that would have been the retirement.
Yes, it would. We do run cosmetic damage. For one, it's always funny to see when somebody's been a little banged up, and two, it does help us determine in some accidents where the damage was caused and who was more responsible.
I believe I fell back after that hit. You keep pressuring Rad.
But with me and Rad fighting up there, anything's still possible, especially with these tight turns coming up.
Me just focusing on my line. And because Rad's
Wonderful use of
holding
the
you
grid.
up a little bit, I'm able to get right back on you guys.
That is the problem with this section. It's not easy. Ooh, cars off the ground.
I turned on my hover mode on that car real quick.
Gotta have the bunny hops. Rad going almost a little too wide there, but of course,
This
again, in this section, it's so hard to pass.
This corner is a little deceiving because the curbing, it's off the wall, but you have to go right up to the inside wall to get that corner right.
Otherwise, those tires are going to
And
eat you alive.
and you do not set up for the straight properly if you don't.
But here I go. I managed to make the overtake finally.
Yep.
Getting my bearings somewhat back together.
Then I'm gonna start attacking Rad. Oh, he attacks
Rad's
back.
setting up for the switchback almost. But yeah, he manages to keep you off him while attacking me. And Ahab's not too far behind either. He's only about a second off the pace.
With 7 minutes of racing still to go. Oh, I go dive in. Oh, didn't spook him enough to take it. But I'm still keeping it on his bumper.
Ooh, scraping the inside of that wall. Starting to see that paint scraping too on the cars. You can tell who's been a little more aggressive into some of these turns, but
As I said, I wasn't taking no for an answer this race. I was really pushing it.
and I totally get that. And thankfully, we know at this track, if you do hit the wall too hard, it's gonna stop you. If it's a scrape, it's a scrape. You'll lose some speed. You keep going.
Ooh. Light,
Just like both of us there. Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to slow me down for that run down the straight. As
Well, I
Rad
was
goes
not
to
giving it up
defend.
either. I'm squeezing him back there. But that's going to give you the chance to attack him. You can see it. You're setting up. Oh, and he
little
squeezes
contact.
you out. Nothing egregious, though. It's still fair. It is amazing this race how much the top four are keeping it together. Because even Ahab, while he's not in the pack, he's staying with the pack.
It's some great battling at Long Beach right now.
And Finesse did manage to recover and pass Matt. We did miss that a little bit earlier. He currently has a 7-second gap on Matt. Look at them picking up the dirt from just inside the wall. That's beautiful.
Oh, you made a
Did I take
mistake
it
in
too
the
wide?
mountain.
That's going to cost me bad. I'm going to probably fall out from this fight for a second. Oh, but that entry for myself. I am right back on you.
You did not want to let me get away there.
Not after having first place. No, I wanted it back. I've been running it all session. Up until this race, I had led every single first place lap except for that very last pass from Finesse in session 1 at Laguna Seca. But
Right
you two
on.
managed to pull away.
I'm going right on the inside there, taking it from Rad.
And there's the overtake. You have it. That is your line now. As me and Ahab follow in behind.
And then I go and hold it as tight as I could through this just to prevent them from getting by, but it wasn't enough.
And
I
Ahab's
made
side
a
by
light
side
mistake.
now, but he falls back. Look at that. Every lap following in, one after the other. This is a great fight for the top. And regardless where any of these four finish, we're all getting points. Because in our session, everybody gets points. It's based on the amount of drivers gets the more points to be in the session, but finishing anywhere in the top is good. So
I was making a couple mistakes.
and Rad's definitely capitalizing on it. He's starting to eat at your rear end again. And given we only have about 3.5 minutes left in the race, he could make the conscious decision to actually help you and push you up further up the track to try to pull away from me and Ahab. But
Oh no, he doesn't quite get on the inside.
But it wasn't wonderful pressure.
But it didn't set him up as good for the straight because I kept my line. You were able to get on his inside.
Now because of it.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite there. It looks like he still has it for now.
Allowing me to get away though.
As we know with that 2 times tire wear, everybody's going to be feeling it with this close, aggressive racing.
I think tire wear for me, I don't like focus on it too much, more or less. I just drive the car with how it feels. Some people definitely feel it after a long stint, though.
Oh, there you go, pushing up the inside, making the move. But Rad keeps it ahead. Wonderful going around that outside.
It's definitely tight.
And I'm getting a little too aggressive trying to pass him in a section that, as I said previously, is not easy to do so.
It is not easy, but it's probably the best section to make the pass. You're coming into a hard braking zone.
For me personally, it's going into turn one or as we enter sector 3 in that other straight. Those are usually my favorite opportunities to pass and work my way up to the inside to force them out.
But now, since you guys are starting to battle really aggressively, I'm starting to pull away.
You definitely are, and let's see as we enter this turn. Ooh, that's a hard hit to that wall. As we can see, Rad just pulls away from me, getting almost a half second off.
But defending
And
from the
now I'm
hop,
fighting. Yeah, Hob actually is. Oh, I'm able to pull it back ahead, but I'm getting really aggressive going into this last few turns.
about to say I'm surprised the Hob hasn't tried to make any moves yet. He's just been following us around the track, but I think this is where he starts to really push.
Ideally, he should have the best tires going into these last two laps. Or no, this will be the final lap.
Yeah, white flag.
Even then, you can kind of see it. Nobody's really getting super big use of the edge of the track anymore, as that tire degradation is making everybody slow down just a tiny bit. Because
Yeah,
at most, even an aggressive driver is going to be about through 30 to 40% of their tires. The more clean and smooth drivers will be anywhere between 5 to 15% right now. And that 15% is where you do start to feel it in these cars.
with how hard we were pushing, we definitely were probably pretty low on tires in the front, especially. A lot of the
And I
braking and
set up.
gat power is in the front.
And as I said before, I love passing that straight as we see it there. I'm able to get right past Brad,
It's a great
but
spot.
he is able to keep it around the inside. Let's see what happens in the hairpin as we enter into the final straight.
Oh. Oh no!
And
And there it is. Aha!
Ahab is able to take advantage into the last turn, hiding back and forth for that whole race. Oh, it looks like we're seeing a replay of that just to be safe.
You gave it. You tried to send it in, and then didn't break, and then he capitalized on it, losing
It's aggressive from
two
everybody, but
spots.
realistically, no fault. It was just purely a racing incident. And that's going to give you the win. Ahab second place, Rad the fourth. Or no, are we entering one? No, we're entering one last lap, it looks like.
Oh wow! Oh,
Yeah, we're definitely still racing. So it looks like the timer might be a little off on the AI, but you're pulled ahead now. You have a 4-second gap.
this is a track
Not
I
even.
definitely enjoy a lot. So
It is a guilty pleasure for me for sure. And the whole purpose behind picking this track is that Carlos, this is one of his less favorite tracks, so we wanted to give him a challenge. For me, it was Laguna Seca because when I was practicing Laguna Seca, I was doing a lot worse.
ooh,
Ooh,
right into the
speaking
tire
of,
barrier.
that's gonna be that tire wear. I did not get on the brakes a lot earlier than I should have, and there goes my second place, unfortunately, and my front end as well.
And Rad
And Rad's
resumed.
back in his second place.
But Hab's still not letting him get away. There might be a send into this last corner.
That's a good exit from Rad. But will Ahab be able to get it?
No, it's not enough.
No. Like we said, the draft on these cars isn't super strong. And so that should be the race then. See, we're going to see. I'm wondering if that timer got messed up a little bit. It definitely did because you're still pushing. So race is still going.
Yes.
I wonder. Oh, we may have done a 20-minute race for our final race since we did a shorter practice in qualifying. I think that's what this is. Yes, everybody's still pushing, so the race is definitely still on. So Brad doesn't quite have that second place yet. But as long as you keep it clean, that first place should be yours within a few minutes.
Ooh.
And I'm
Oh.
gone there. The instant reset. Thankfully, the reset is allowed once your car has fully stopped. I was fully stopped.
Brad's still defending from a hub. As I'm just pulling away.
And so it looks like this may be our finale then.
Yeah, that's the final.
Yeah, they've slowed down. So yeah, congratulations on taking first, Darius. We know that's going to give you a lot of points in this session. It is Rad, followed by Ahab, followed by myself, followed by what looks to be Finesse as long as he gets to the end of this lap. And Matt unfortunately retired at some point earlier in the race. So that will be our session results. So congratulations again, Darius. Anything to say for that? And
Nothing really. I was just really focused on making sure I didn't lose that race. After the last two races, I was definitely focused on getting it.
Laguna Seca was definitely unfortunate. And then Spielberg was also just quite unfortunate, but you definitely brought it back. You brought it to the points. I know for this brought you to third overall in the session, which did end you up with one of our opening season rewards. Finesse, I believe, managed to actually steal second place overall despite the performance here. But yeah, that's going to be our session one and wrapping up. This was really fun, and we're looking forward to our session two coming up here on March 22nd. We're going to try to be a lot quicker when we upload the video, but we will be having those two races out soon. We're going to Virginia International and Historic Inland. So those will be some really fun races to be seeing.